Chiefs have to find a way to take their offense to the next level, especially in starting with the Bucs on Monday Night Football. What does that look like today on Locked On Chiefs?
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Hope you're all doing well and you are ready to go. We're brought to you today by Game Time. You can get in on the action right now. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code LOCKEDONNFL, and you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Quick and easy. We are going to go quick and easy as this is not a game preview. We will have that for you up Sunday night as you get ready for Monday Night Football against the Buccaneers. Today, we have a lot to go over. This is Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. I'm Ryan Tracy from NFL 33 and RGR Football. We're going to run it down for you. Please check out and subscribe to those spots and check out our text line at 816-357-8781. That's where the locos hang out. Those are our everyday Locked On Chiefs fans. We love you guys and we appreciate you everydayers. We got to get into taking a quick look at the Bucs before we break it all down coming up later. That's later in the show. In the middle, we're going to hit in and out on the Chiefs newcomers. Who's going to do what and where and when, in or out. But we start at taking the offense to the next level. We talked about in the first part of the season what the bye being so early was going to do. It was going to allow them to ramp gradually. Injuries have derailed that to a certain extent. But there is evolution coming in the next few weeks on or off, and they have to find a way to continue to increase that offense. Some fan bases think I'm crazy in saying that because Chiefs are undefeated at this point, and there are a couple of hiccups here that they have to watch out for, but where would you start? What's the next step in taking that evolution towards the best this offense can be?
Next step has to be improvement at left tackle. Quite frankly, that's where it all starts for me. If you can improve left tackle play, I think that your offense takes a whole new step forward because everything that we've seen makes it look like Patrick Mahomes doesn't trust the backside. And when you don't trust the backside, you're going to get rid of the ball quicker than you really should. He has made some plays with his legs. He has made some plays by, moving around in the pocket and doing some of those things, but he's not doing it near as much as what he had done last year, towards the end of the year, and, in previous years. So I think that that's the biggest thing is, can they get the left tackle kind of situated? Can they get it to a point where he trusts who is going to be guarding his backside? Because if they don't do that, he's going to continue to be throwing the ball quickly, and that causes issues. And it causes you to be able to not use one of your biggest weapons that you brought in this year in Xavier Worthy the way that you need to be using it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Andy Reid made an announcement or a comment at his presser that they're going to go with Wanya Morris against the Bucs one more time, but that he still has faith in Kingsley. And that's fine. I think you got to do that to keep both young guys going. I think that's a mistake. I think I've seen enough at this point, but they're going to roll with it. So one way or the other, they're going to have to get that sorted out. Hopefully, against this particular team, they'll be able to accomplish that. The next thing for me is the fact that also commented was that Isaiah Pacheco's improving. He's not ready to practice yet, but he is improving. And so that doubles you down on a guy who missed or was, limited on Thursday's practice in Kareem Hunt to give him some relief, somebody else that you feel you can just plug in. Honestly, I still believe that Isaiah Pacheco should be the starter when he returns and that you have a 1-2 punch with these two guys. And no offense to my guy Carson Steele, but they should be the two out there unless it's a specific passing situation for Samaje Perine, and you just batter the upcoming teams with both of them once Isaiah is back.
Yeah, and I think that what you're seeing from Kareem Hunt right now is, he's got a quad issue. I don't believe it was quad last week. I thought it was something else. But you're looking at him basically it was shoulder last week. So you're looking at two separate injuries. He is taking the beating because he is running the ball a ton, and you cannot think that he's going to continue to be able to do that. The other crazy thing to me is I know people think that he has better vision than Pacheco, and maybe that's true. But the problem is that while he is being efficient, they are getting 4 or 5 yards in a cloud of dust, and they're moving the ball. They're able to run the ball that way. They're not getting explosive plays. Kareem doesn't have the ability to have explosive plays right now, and that is slowing them down a little bit. Now, like I said, there is an argument to be made that maybe Pacheco isn't going to be able to hit those either because he doesn't have the same vision that Kareem does. But to me, I think that when you're looking at this, I think that I don't know. Obviously, I'm different than you. I know you want to run the ball more. I personally would still like to see Mahomes throw the ball 30 times a game, if not 35, just because I think that that's where the NFL is, and I think that that's where they can be the most effective. But if they're running the ball, 10 to 15 times per person with Pacheco and Hunt, this team is going to be hard to stop. But you have to get it to where you can start getting some explosive plays on in the running game, because it is slowing down your offense and it is hurting your offense to an extent, and it is making some of your drives stall out.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. I would argue that the 30 and 35 is probably too much, only because of the people you're throwing to. Now, maybe that changes with the guy we're going to talk about in the next segment, because it's about the incompletions. It's about the possibilities of turnovers that I think outweigh running that much. But that's the next step. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to get back. He will return. You're going to continue to pepper in DeAndre Hopkins, and I can't say enough glowing things about the way that he started. This week, I think they need to step that up a little bit in terms of reps and targets. But I don't think it has to be like full-on gas pedal to the floor kind of thing. I think they have a ramp-up time here until they get Juju back as well, because I think that kind of rounds out the whole passing game.
Well, and the one thing I would say about Mahomes and throwing is, I think this season, according to PFF, he has 7 turnover-worthy plays. He's got 9 interceptions. He hasn't had a turnover-worthy play in the last 3 games, yet he has 4 picks. So my point in that is that he is trying to take care of the ball, but luck is playing a bad part in how he's getting some of his turnovers. And because of that, they're turning the ball over. They've obviously had their interceptions, but at some point, you're not going to continue to have luck go away from you like that. It's going to bounce back the other direction. And to me, throwing the ball more allows you to get Hopkins more involved, allows you to continue to get Noah Gray going, and maybe even get you to a point where maybe you can use Xavier Worthy in some of the instances that you really need to, as well as keeping Kelsey and Juju going as well.
Yeah, let's hope that that's the way it works out. Now, how they do that is going to be a journey, and the Chiefs have some newcomers. How do they fit in? Are we in or out on certain aspects of their game coming up next? The atmosphere at Arrowhead is unique. There's nothing like it. Nowhere more in the world that you want to watch a ball game than right there from those seats. Finding those seats is always interesting. It makes it super easy to use Game Time. It's all in pricing, so you never get hit with anything strange. You don't get surprised at checkout. You get to see the view from every seat in the stadium, so you know exactly what that ball game is going to look like when you're sitting there. And they offer the lowest price guarantee. You find it cheaper somewhere else, they'll give you 110% of the difference right there on the spot. All you got to do is get the Game Time app. So go download it, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL. You'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Again, all you got to do is create an account and use the code. It's LOCKEDONNFL, and you get $20 off. Go down that Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time.
Our fans over at 5 Hour Energy know that being a passionate football fan isn't just a hobby. It is a way of life. It takes a lot of energy to power through all-day tailgates, touchdown celebrations, or an agonizing second overtime, which is why they've created the Stand the Fan 5 Hour Energy Shot with a special flavor called FanFuel. The energy shot made just for super fans like you. The fans who were first in the parking lot and who are the last to leave. We see you. You know what else gave me a little bit of Chiefs fan fuel this week? The moment when DeAndre Hopkins caught his first pass from Patrick Mahomes. That showed what his value can be to this team. That was a big moment, and it shows how much of an impact he can have this season for this team. 5 Hour Energy knows that no matter what team you root for, being a fan requires heart, soul, and a whole lot of energy. Whether you're prepping for the big tailgate or ironing your jersey, your game day to-do list is always a mile long. That's why the limited edition Stand the Fan 5 Hour Energy Shot is here to help keep you fueled throughout the season. What's your fan fuel this week? Whatever it is, do it with the 5 Hour Energy. Available on 5hourenergy.com, shipped nationwide.
I love playing this game, and I appreciate that you came up with it in the summer, and I think we have to get back to it in certain situations like this where there's a lot of open-ended questions. So I've got a couple. I don't know if you've got anything queued up. If you want to start, that's awesome about where we're at with this team.
In or out, I think it's Josh Uche. I mean Joshua Uche at this point. I think he plays against the Bucs on Monday night, and I would have said probably not, considering he's not a DeAndre Hopkins type. And what I mean by that is he's not a veteran. He hasn't been in the league for 10 years. He doesn't have the experience Hopkins does, and I think that matters. But I look at this, and I look at this move for them. They made it on a Monday. They have an entire week to get him ready to play. I think that he actually plays in this game against the Buccaneers. Now, whether or not he's going to have a big impact is a whole other issue, but I do think he plays in this game, and I do think that they start using him in more of a NASCAR type look and maybe give a guy like Mike Dana some time off because he's still trying to come back from a pec. Whether or not he plays in this game could factor into how much Uche plays.
I agree with you completely, but I am in on him playing, period. And I'm rather excited about it only because he brings a change of pace to that pass rush in that he's got a faster pace, and I'm looking for that. I do think that's something that can instigate some changes in the way that teams choose to block them up, and I think that helps everybody else along the line, including Chris Jones. So I am all the way in on Uche playing. I'll take it the next step, though. In terms of a guy that historically has always produced pressure, I think he'll be able to do that in this game as well. I'm going to put the line at like 2.5. So I'm going to take the over. Are you in or out on more than 2.5 pressures for Uche in this ballgame?
I'm going to go under, but mainly because I don't know how many snaps he's going to get. This should be a game where he is able to get snaps. I mean, they should be in a situation where they're able to get them in passing downs. And to be clear, I think that that's one of the biggest things in his role that he is going to have to figure out. They're going to be able to put him in obvious passing situations, but I don't think you're going to see him out there on first and second down at all this week. And I don't know that you will even into December. I think that he's got to show that he can earn some of the reps, because one of the things that this defense has prided itself on is run defense. And that does matter from the defensive end position. He's got to be able to set the edge, and he's got to be able to keep things inside him. So to me, I'd say it's under on the pass rush pressures, but it's mainly because I don't know how many actual opportunities he's going to get in this game. The other thing I will say about him that I like is he's a lot like George Karlaftis. He is always going after the quarterback. And what I mean by that, it's not the power. He is consistently 100 miles an hour trying to get after the quarterback. George has power. Uche doesn't, but it's the same type of motor.
And I think together, that constant pressure flushes quarterbacks into each other. So it's not necessarily that it's got to be an all-out win. It's the fact that as a whole, that pass rush has more angles to flush and corral a quarterback.
Yep. No, I agree. So over or under DeAndre Hopkins with, I'd say 6 catches or 6 targets this week. No, I'm going to go 6 catches this week.
6 catches. Ooh, okay.
5.5.
Well, here's the thing.
5.5. So we do over or under easy.
Okay. Well, here's the thing: is targets and catches are the same damn thing because he catches everything. So it doesn't matter to me.
As long as it's on target.
I'm going to be optimistic. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say I'm in on 6 or more catches for DeAndre Hopkins, even though I don't think they have to funnel everything to him. I think that's just going to be the way that the game flows.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things, and I was actually watching, I think it was Steve Smith Jr. Steve Smith Sr. talking about his first catch as a Chief, and the fact that he's got probably 100,000 reps running a wide receiver between high school, college, football, pro, all that, games, practices, all of that. But the important thing that you don't realize is one of the things that the Chiefs do, and I'm sure that the Chiefs do this to an extent, maybe not the full extent that he was talking about, but teams have your practice days. This is first and second down. This is what we're practicing. Third down days, maybe your Friday days where they're, installing your third down plays. If that's true, he came in basically for the end of the week last week and came in for that third down package. That makes a lot more sense as to how you saw him used in that game. Him having the full week and having a chance to go into the offense more, I think he's going to be a lot more involved. I think, his snaps could go from, I think he had 23 total and 14 passing snaps to probably closer to 50 snaps. Obviously, it's dependent on how much the offense is on the field, but I would expect that he's going to be out there a ton, and I think he's going to get targeted. I'm going to go over on the 5.5 catches.
Makes sense to me. I think the thing that then becomes critical is how it all flows together. So my last one is directed more towards the offense itself and how many points it's able to put up. And I know there's problems. I know it's not going to be the shootout. We're going to preview the whole thing for you coming up on Sunday night, folks. So be here for an early release of an episode. I don't think it's going to be a boat race, but I do still think that there is potential to put up more points. So let's put it at, say, 23. In or out that they go over 23 points on offense?
I'd say in. And I mainly say in because I'm not so sure that they win the game if they go at 23. This defense is fantastic, and they are a very good defense, but the Buccaneers offense has been very good. Obviously, they're going to be missing Godwin. They're more than likely missing Evans from everything that we've heard. He missed practice, so I would expect that Evans isn't going to play. But I think that they have a good chance of winning this game, but I don't think they do it with just 23 points. I'm thinking they're going to have to get closer to 28 because I do think the Bucs are going to be able to put some points up on the board. And the reality is you go back and watch some of the times that Kansas City's played, their first half defense is not near as good as their second half defense. And I do think the Bucs come out and probably get some points early on.
I think that could easily be it. We'd love to know what you guys think. Make sure you put your comments below. We have to take a look at who's going to be on the field and who's not. Coming up next, what are the Bucs at? Right after this. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers, you can bet just $5 and you get $150 back in bonus bets if you win right now. FanDuel Sportsbook, the app, gives you everything that you need to get bets in place for the NFL all in one place. So when you got a hunch in the middle of the game, you want to check out the latest stats, you live by that play-by-play, you can do that and much more in the same page right where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com today and join. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 and official sportsbook partner of the NFL. It's exciting to think that what we thought was going to be the toughest part of the season, they've already gotten through. And now they're in a position that they have a couple of obstacles. And I think this is a sneaky obstacle. Again, we will tell you more about it coming up on the next show. But I don't think that this is a lay-down game by any means. Yes, they're going to be missing some guys. Mike Evans has a hamstring issue going on. I believe he was at practice but didn't participate, so that's something. But obviously we know Chris Godwin is hurt and on IR. The offense has taken a hit. I still believe that they are a dangerous team. I think Baker Mayfield is still playing maybe his best football of his career.
Agreed.
Has been in Tampa Bay. So it's about who else can step up. How nervous are you about the status of this team backed into a corner or whatever you want to call it?
I'm a little nervous. I think the big thing, though, is talking in the crossover yesterday, one of the big things that James was talking about was that they have to focus on running the ball and they have to be able to run the ball well. And it's a multifaceted thing for them. It's not just that they have to be able to run the ball and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, but it's also the fact that, like you just said, and I mentioned in the last segment, their two best wide receivers aren't going to be playing in this game. Cade Otton is going to be their #1 guy that they're going to be targeting more than likely in this game. And that's a problem. I mean, Otton's a good player, but he's not anywhere close to Godwin or Evans, and that's going to slow the passing game down a little bit. So they have to run the ball. And if you look at what the Chiefs have done against the running game so far this year, they have stifled just about everybody that they've played. Now, the fact is that the Buccaneers have 3 different guys that they're going to be running against you. Although it does look like Bucky Irving missed practice, so maybe he won't be going in this game, and he is a guy that I would be a little bit more nervous about. But I think that this is a game that they can still win and the defense can perform well. The question is can they run the ball in Kansas City? Because if they can run the ball, then you don't have to have a dynamic passing attack, but you have to be able to at least get a little bit going in the run game. And I'm talking more like run the ball for 100 to 120 yards, which I don't think the Chiefs have allowed this year, other than maybe to the Ravens with Lamar Jackson going off for 75 himself. So, and Baker's not going to do that.
No, I don't think so either. In defending the run, there's a couple of guys on the injury report for the Kansas City Chiefs, but nothing drastic. Drew Tranquill's was listed with a chest, but full participant. Trent McDuffie's got a knee, but full participant, right? So Mike Dan is the only one that's coming off the pectoral. He was limited, but you again feel that you have the rotation on the defensive line to kind of take care of that as they have in Mike's absence. So I personally am a little bit relieved because I think Bucky's that spark plug. I really like what he's done. If you're a fantasy player, you know the impact that he's having. And so I think that plays well and back into the Chiefs' hands as well. I think as it unfurls, if they can be a little bit more one-noted, maybe they get Sterling Shepard back. But it is that prime matchup of what the Chiefs have struggled with a little bit, maybe not as much this season as last season, in covering tight ends and knowing that they're going to have to focus on a tight end in their offense. I'm interested to see what else gets pulled out and how the Chiefs choose to deal with that. Is it more playtime for Jaden Hicks, say, who's come on, and I think he got 9 snaps on defense last week, small tick up for him, or if they choose to let the linebackers go at it?
Yeah, I think you look at the tight end situation. They played against Brock Bowers last week, who's had a fantastic season, and they didn't shut him down, but they kept him in check. And I think when you look at this team, they're pretty much in the same position that the Raiders were for the most part. I mean, they don't even have a guy like Jacoby Myers, who I think is a better wide receiver than probably anything that the Buccaneers have on their offense right now because of the other guys that are injured. So at this point, it really is pretty much Cade Otton that they're going to be trying to go to, and I think that that's going to be a problem. The other thing I think is going to play in Kansas City's favor is their interior defensive line has been playing fantastic. The linebackers have been flowing to the ball very well when you start talking about stopping the run. And while the Bucs have great tackles, their interior is struggling or is not. I don't think is going to have as good of a chance in this game as they would have in other games because I think between Mike Pennell playing well and Derek Nottie playing well when you're talking about stopping the run, and Tershawn Wharton and Chris Jones, all those guys are getting a lot of snaps in the inside, and they're stopping the run on a regular basis, or they're keeping the linebackers clean so they can stop the run on a regular basis. That's just about as important as them stopping themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you missed my breakdown on RGR football this week, I kind of outlined that, especially on the goal line stand, how it was taking away the option for some of the blockers to get to the linebacker level so that they could actually take care of business. And if they can continue that certainly bodes well for them in this game. I know Rashid White got in the end zone last week, but I don't think he's as formidable a foe as Irvin is, particularly in the way that the Chiefs choose to defend him. So then it becomes about not handing the ball over, not going out of your way to make mistakes. We can't have any special teams blunders, that kind of thing. This Bucs team is still a foe that you have to give respect to. If you play your game, I'm feeling pretty good about this, and we're going to break it all the way down here on Sunday. So anybody else stand out to you?
No, I wouldn't say anybody else stands out. I would say that this is still a formidable team. I'm glad. I don't want to say glad because I hate injuries. I'm somewhat happy that they're not playing against Evans and Godwin. It'd be a much tougher game, but I think that this is a game Kansas City should be, as long as they're staying focused like they should in every single game this season. I think that this is going to be a matchup that really should be to their advantage, especially considering it's at home, it's on a Monday night. The crowd is going to be crazy, and I think that's also going to help.
I'm with you. Folks, we'd like to know what you think. We're going to monitor everything through the weekend, and we will have our game preview for you up on Sunday night so that you can get ready for Monday Night Football. Thanks for being with us. Make sure you check out everything that's related here over on Chiefs Corner, on RGR Football, on NFL 33. Like, sub, and hit the bell here. Have a great weekend yourself. This is going to be a lot of fun. Chiefs are looking to go 8-0 on their road to a three-peat. Let's see what happens next. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next time.